Okay. Awesome. So I know you've already been through the getting started session. So today we are going to cover next steps. The next step session is basically just getting your deal from once you've submitted it, from that submitted status all the way to completed, with a focus on the documents as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And hopefully we can all see my screen here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to jump directly to the dashboard and we're going to check out my submitted deals that I have. Okay, so I have one deal that's in the submitted status here. That's basically where we left off with the getting started. So for today, we're just going to click into this deal and see what she looks like. So it's going to take a second to load, which sometimes it does with the screen share. Perfect. And I'm going to jump right to that mortgage request section and take a look at that submission. Awesome. So once your deal has been submitted, you will have the, where are we here? You'll have the submitted date entered into the application, and obviously your status will go ahead and say submitted in the top. It was also in the submitted status on my dashboard. To move this deal from submitted to that approved status, there's two ways that can happen. Basically, the first way is that the lender will respond through the system, and that status will automatically be updated to approved. So you'll see that approval that has come from the lender. As we all know, sometimes lenders do not actually go through the system. Sometimes they prefer to send you an email or something along those lines. If that is the case, you can come into the deal and mark it as approved manually just by clicking this mark as approved button in that mortgage request section right beside submitted. So if I mark this as approved, that will now give me that approved date, and I'll have that approved status, as well as this deal will, again, be in the approved status on my dashboard as well. To get this from approved to accepted, that has to do with the document. So I'm going to jump to the conditions. So as soon as your lender or yourself uploads a commitment letter, again, the commitment letter can either be sent by the lender directly into your document section of your deal, or they sometimes can send it to you outside that platform. So if that's the case, you can come down to your conditions and documents section, and we're just going to need to add that commitment letter manually again. So if I click add upload conditions, I can then select that commitment letter. It'll have to be the signed commitment. Perfect. So now we can see that I have that. I can go ahead and click add condition. And when I click close, the status is approved if I click to open this section. So right now it's marked as unsigned. If I go ahead and click it, now that's marked as signed, and I can see the status is accepted. And then obviously if I had that commitment letter from my lender, I would go ahead and upload it into this section here as well. So that's how you get to that accepted status, which is that next section on your dashboard. From here, the next step is basically just ensuring that you have all of the documents in this in your deal. And if you click lender conditions met, that is going to update this to the waiting to close status. So there's just little different steps that you're taking to, again, move that deal through your dashboard from waiting to close. So 5 days after that closing date, this deal will automatically move into the, so we're in waiting to close. It's going to move into the next status on my dashboard, which I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it actually to see what it is. So we're in waiting to close. Funded and awaiting payment is going to be an automatic jump. So again, 5 days after that closing date that's in the application, it's going to move into that funded and awaiting payment. Once it's here, you don't want these deals sitting here forever. They're not always going to be awaiting payment. So we can actually move this deal off of this board and just get it into that completed status by going into one of these deals that's in funded and awaiting payment. And we can mark this deal as funded. So we can just go ahead and say, okay, this is done now. Deal's been funded. And if I click actions, I can just click received payment, and that's basically completing the deal. So start to finish, those are the different sections that we're going to. Do we have any questions on, I guess, those status movements at this point?
No, nothing so far. It's all making sense.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So we're going to jump back into that dashboard, and we're just going to go into that conditions and documents section and just play around a little bit in there and make sure we know how to access your documents from your clients so that we can actually be completing those deals. So I'm going to go back into Maria actually, and we're going to take a look at her documents. And I'm just going to jump down into that conditions section. Right, so here we are. So I do have a couple of items in this deal, as you can see. I'm also going to go ahead and just uncheck the lender conditions met. So we're going to jump back and unsign this commitment letter as well. So now we're back to the approved. Undid everything we just did. So there's a couple ways to get documents into this deal. So I can either add and upload the conditions and then upload those documents myself, or I can actually request these documents from my clients directly and get them to upload those documents into their secure document portal. So I'm just going to go ahead and click add upload conditions and add a couple of conditions into this deal. Let's go ahead and grab maybe a pay stub. Maybe we want a letter of employment. Maybe I want to add some details into this as well. So if I am going to be requesting this from my client, I might want to give them a bit of information on what I'm looking for. So if I ask for a letter of employment, I can say dated, signed letter from your employer less than 1 month old. So just because it's your clients aren't always going to upload exactly what you want. Sometimes we need a little bit of details, as I'm sure you know. We're also going to ask for a gift letter because maybe we know that part of this is coming from a gift. So once I've added all of the conditions from this list that I need into this section here, I can go ahead and click close, and those are now going to be located in my document section. So the first way to upload my documents into the document section is if I already have one of my clients' documents. Let's say they sent me something by email or something like that. I have the document already. I can go ahead and just click to expand the document that I want to enter. So the pay stub, for example, and then I can just go ahead and click upload here. And this is going to upload or show me my computer drive so I can grab a document from my computer. I'm going to go ahead and click this document that I have here. It's titled as credit consent, but let's just say that that's a pay stub. And there we go. Now I have my client's pay stub in that pay stub section here. I can view this document just by clicking view, and that will open another tab in my browser so I can take a look at exactly what that pay stub looks like. And again, sometimes it can take a minute, but that's where that would be. So that's one way to do it. So I can upload those documents myself. The second way to get those documents into the system is to request them directly from my client, like I said earlier. So to do that, I'm just going to select the documents that I want to actually request. So maybe that pay stub isn't, I need more from my client, so I'm going to ask for that as well. And I can just select those documents and then go ahead and click actions. And under client portal, I have two options here. I can request the documents by email or by SMS. So if you set up the Twilio and have that connected, you can actually request these directly to your client by text message, which is pretty cool. Or what we're going to do today is just request those documents by email. So if I click there, it's going to load up with the email in my account. So here we go. So now I have from and myself. And I can just go ahead in the to field. If I click plus, it'll pull in just my client that's on this deal, which is exactly what I want. So Lenore, I'm asking that document from. It did just change to Ross because it's the same email address, which is me playing with the system. So it won't do that for you. And then we have the subject line already entered. So I have my client's name and the deal number. I can add anything I want to this. So I can say document request for Maria L. And then I can go ahead and type a message to my client here. So, hi, Lenore, please upload the documents requested below. My typing's not very good. Let's spell documents right. There we go. And then this is what's going to basically load up automatically. So the list of documents I'm asking for, as well as those details that I entered, if any, and a nice little button that my client can click, as well as my signature, which I've added into my settings and will come up in all of my emails that I'm sending from the platform. So I can go ahead and click send, and that is now going to send my client a request to open the document portal, which should come into my email any second now. Just wait for that little ding. So here we go. Just came in from Carly Fotia. That's me, the broker or agent. And if I click into this, I'm going to see that email that I just sent out. So this is what it will look like from your client side. Again, it's from me and asking for the documents to be uploaded. So your client can go ahead and just click this upload documents button, which will then open the client document upload portal. So this is all what your client will see from their end. So it's super secure. It's sending documents by email is definitely not the most secure way to share those documents, especially when you're asking for things like T4s and, you know, really sensitive information, bank statements, things like that. So this is a really secure way for your client to share those documents with you. So I can see that I'm asking for the pay stub, the letter of employment, and a gift letter. So all my client needs to do at this point is go ahead and click select files and upload whatever they have on their computer into this section. So if I just grab this document I have here, T4, that's fine. And then they can come to their letter of employment and they can add something in here. I'll just grab this. Perfect. And see, they're getting checked off on the left as I go ahead and add them. And I'm also getting this bar at the top, which is showing me how complete my document request is. So I can see I'm 67% complete. If I put something under gift letter, that'll go to 100. If I don't have the gift letter at this point, that's totally fine. If I just go ahead and click complete, that's going to leave everything as is. Those documents are going to go to the broker, and I can actually come back at any time and go ahead and upload the rest of those documents. So I'll continue to have access to that document upload portal. So your client can leave and come back and continue uploading when they have those documents available. Going back into my application, which is here, if I refresh my page, I will now be able to see that I have those documents in my document section. So back to the agent view, and we'll just head down to the conditions. And let it figure out what it's doing here. Perfect. So this green box here, that means that I've requested those documents from my client. This next one here means that they're received. So I can see that I've requested these 3 documents and I've received the 2 of them. So I know I'm still waiting on that gift letter, but with the pay stub and letter of employment, if I click to expand, I'll be able to see exactly what my client has uploaded. So we talked again about viewing, so I can click and actually see that document. I can also split documents. So if I click the split button, this will give me the opportunity to actually move pages around into those different sections. So if, for example, my client uploaded 4 pages. The first page is a letter of employment. The next page is actually a pay stub. I can actually move that pay stub into that pay stub section, and I'll just be left with my letter of employment in my letter of employment section. So if I go ahead and save that, then the next page is entered now into my pay stub. So you can move documents around. Move does the same thing, except it's just the full file that you can move into a different section. Merge is actually going to let me merge this document into another file that's also in the system. So I clicked merge on the pay stub. If I click T4 and go ahead and click save, those are going to turn into one file. So I can kind of play around and make sure that I have all of my client's documents actually in the right section that I'm asking for, and splitting up the pages if I need to, putting them together to make sure that the documents are all kind of clean and put together and easy for me to review. So any questions at this point on this documents section?
No, it's actually making a lot of sense. I was confused about this before, so it's all good.
It's a little overwhelming when you first see
Yeah.
it. There's a lot of kind of icons and there's a lot going on, but it's really, when you start playing around in it, it does make sense. So.
Yeah, it's a lot more like straightforward than I thought it was.
Awesome. Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next step we need to do here is actually send these documents to a lender. So let's say I have all of the documents in the system. My clients provided them, I've uploaded what I have, and I'm ready to go ahead and actually send these to a lender. All I need to do is just select the documents that I want to send and click this magic actions buttons again. So we do have a direct document transfer, so we can submit documents to a number of lenders automatically. It's a big push that we're working on, and we're getting a ton of lenders on board in the next couple months so that we can actually submit documents directly to most of the big ones. There are still some that are missing. So basically, once you have a lender entered into the application, if you come and click submit documents, it will tell you whether that lender will accept those documents directly or not. So just something to note, it is a really cool feature. Obviously, lenders love it too. It goes directly into their portal. They don't have to, go into email and you don't have to upload them. So that's one way to do it. Definitely something to look out for, especially as we onboard new lenders. The next way to access those documents is to download them as a zip file. So this would be if you need to get those documents onto your computer to upload them manually into a lender portal. You're downloading them as a zip. The last way is to actually email those conditions and documents directly to your lender. So similar to what the client portal looks like, if I go ahead and click email conditions and documents, rather than sending that portal, it just is giving me a list of the documents I'm selecting, as well as attaching all of those documents that are in those sections. And then I would obviously enter my lender email address here, change up the subject line if I need to, and I can send that email directly to the lender. So 3 ways of submitting documents to lenders. Whichever one they accept is what you'll be doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. All right. The last thing here is the compliance portion. So obviously compliance is a big one. If I scroll up this little compliance documents tab, this is going to be located in all of your deals. So when I'm inside the deal, I'll be able to go and click and expand compliance documents. And this will give me a list of all of the compliance documents that I would need, with showing me only the documents for the province in which that property is located. So because the subject property on this deal is in Ontario, I'm seeing only the Ontario compliance documents. So if I need to go ahead and input my disclosure to borrower statement, for example, I would just click on that and it'll be brought into this application for me. So now it's just been added into the bottom. I have my Ontario disclosure to borrower. I'll need to fill in this information. So if I click on products, this is my submission that I have in the system. This is so exactly what I've entered. So if I click on that submission, it's going to grab all of my information from the application and autofill it into this disclosure to borrower statement. So I don't really have to do much here. It's getting everything from that application for me. And then all I would have to do is click create PDF, and this will turn it into a document. I unfortunately haven't actually filled out everything in this application, so it's giving me an error. But if your application was actually complete and submitted, you would get that document created automatically there. And it works the same with all of the other compliance forms that you have. Last portion is actually submitting that compliance package to your compliance officer. Pretty straightforward. All you need to do for that is actually prepare. So we're going to use this prepare compliance button. But if we look here, this second icon is actually the compliance icon. So I can mark packages or mark conditions or document types as required for my compliance. So if I click on these, whatever documents I need for my compliance package, and then just go ahead and select those documents as well with the checkbox, and I click prepare compliance, this is just going to put those documents into a package together and automatically send them to my compliance officer through the system. So if I click send package, it'll give me all of the documents I've selected. I can move these around. Just say my compliance officer is pretty picky about how everything's organized in that package. And then if I click ready for compliance, that will be automatically submitted, and I'll get a little success icon. And in my document section, it will tell me your compliance package is submitted and waiting. So pretty simple, straightforward. You'll be notified as well once your compliance officer goes in and actually confirms that package as well. And that's basically it. So that's kind of overview of, again, getting your deal to the completed status, as well as how to organize, add, and handle the document section. Do you have any questions? How do you feel about everything at this point?
No, that last part was good to know actually about compliance, because like we're doing our compliance right now through Scarlett.
Okay.
But we're looking to like move into just doing it through Velocity instead, rather than kind of like doing it in both places. So
awesome. Yeah, it definitely makes a lot more sense for sure.
Yeah, it does. I do the compliance for our brokerage, so I'm usually on like the receiving end of getting the documents, not on the creating end. So it's good to know like how to do that.
Gotcha. It's really cool if you do have if you're basically set up to be that compliance reviewer for your team, you'll have another little tab on the left here, and it'll give you access to all of those compliance packages. Okay. So it's all kind of built in. It's really clean and easy to use.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can basically just click over and review them, and everything's kind of automatically updated as you're looking at them. If you need to request something else, you can, decline it with reasoning. And then your agents will have to go back and
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Well, I think we're probably going to like move into that in the new year. So
yeah, makes sense.
Good to know. Yeah. But if I have more questions about that as that gets closer, I'll come back to you.
For sure. Yeah. Any specifics or anything? Yeah. Awesome. Great. Ryan, anything you'd like to add there or touch on that maybe I've missed?
No, you've covered absolutely everything. So that was